Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be talking about kicking off the year 2020. Hi guys. No, you're not confused. We are talking about kicking off the year 2020, and we're talking about it with my children today, talking about it from the children's perspective, so to speak. Not just the year, but the entire decade. I think that's what we're about this whole month. So that was my number one doing the intro for me, and that accent was British. Okay, do the exact same words now in a Nigerian accent.
Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel.
And today
we're going to be talking about, sounds different in Nigerian accent.
sounds funny. Okay, and number two is going to tell you guys to subscribe
in the
Nigerian accent.
Don't forget to subscribe, yeah?
There you go, you've heard it. Don't forget to subscribe. You hear? It's so funny that you guys have never been to Nigeria, but just because your dad's Nigerian and you watch all those videos and stuff, you've practically perfected the accent. So I think when you go, you won't be lost, and you can eat the food.
Yeah.
And you can talk the lingo.
With your eyes red and your head watering.
With your eyes red and your what watering?
Head.
Your head watering.
Sweating.
Oh, your head sweating because of the chilies.
I didn't get it.
I remember that time you guys had chilies with daddy. You were sweating and still eating. You were enjoying it.
It was tasty, but very
two
very
tissues
hot.
at the side. Blowing
We had to keep eating, so I don't know why, but it didn't taste as hot when you kept eating. If you stopped, you would start going on your tongue. So
Okay, so they've told you we're talking about 2020. We're talking about the decade coming, and I've had this conversation quite a lot in this season with grown-ups and with my children, and I just found the perspective with the children to be interesting and something that I wanted to share with you. So we're gonna have our conversation today. Today we've got number 1, number 2, and number 4. We're recording at night, and everyone's gone to bed, and it's peaceful and quiet. So you will not be having the usual interruptions that you're used to on Life of Interruptions. Not the cars, not the children screaming, none of that. Okay, let's talk 2020. Do you guys feel like that sense of just expectation, excitement?
yeah.
Like a fresh start? Mm-hmm. How do you feel, number 2?
Yeah.
You feel excited?
And before 2020 came, who else thought like it might be
Such
the
a
future?
yeah.
Like new tech and stuff like that. But now that it's here, 2020.
It's just
2020.
I know we when we were approaching the decade 2010, there was all this talk about, no, that was 2000. Sorry. That was the year 2000. In the year 2000, there was this big thing as we were approaching 2000. Everybody was like, Y2K, because they had never seen the calendar switch on all of these computers. Remember, prior to that, we didn't have computers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We didn't have TVs in some of the centuries prior. So when that millennium was now turning into 2000, they had no idea how the computers were going to react, and they felt like all the computers had only been programmed up to 1999. So anything that you had on your program from 2000 was going to crash and burn. Guys, we didn't have tablets in those days. You're saying what?
Duh. I don't think they even had the first smartphone.
In the year 2000, no smartphones, definitely
They
not.
had it, what was it, 2008?
2000, I don't know, no. I don't know when cell phones came. It was not 2008, it was much earlier. Cell phones came in the 90s.
Yeah.
1990 came in the 90s, early 90s, I think. If I'm wrong, I'll just have to go and research it. But smartphones, definitely not. Back in those days, you carried a brick, something big that looked like it was huge, and you felt cool with your huge thing. We used to tease that back in the day when you wanted to dial a number, you'd stand in front of your cell phone and punch the numbers like this because it was so big. And we were exaggerating, but yeah, how time flies. Today, you can't believe that there was ever an era without tablets. Somebody asked me the other day, when did you get your first cell phone? And I said, I got my first cell phone when I was working. He was like, what? No, varsity. I said, I got my first cell phone. I was in varsity. I was in my late teens. and I worked and got my first cell phone. Like he did a double take. Like, who does that? And I just realized it's a completely different generation. I won't say whether it's
I think it was 5.
5 what?
Number 5. I'm just guessing.
No, it's number 4. He knows.
Oh, he's surprised. He thought you would have one like earlier.
Yeah, because these days children just have cell phones much earlier.
Yeah.
We did tablets. What was that? We didn't have tablets then, you know. So things change, and I think for me one of the key thoughts that I've had is, where was I this time, or in your age this time? Like, especially with number 2 being a girl, for me, every time she hits a certain age, I keep thinking to myself, where was I at that age? What was I doing at that age? What was I going through at that age? And before she hits that age, I'm so conscious to try and pray a path ahead of her. To just be like, Lord, the things that happened to me that were not pleasant, that were not good, that had set a negative foundation for the rest of my life, don't let that be her narrative also. Don't let her have to go through the same thing. So I'm going ahead of you in prayer, because I understand that these things are generational, right? It's really generational. Things that happened to the generation before you, believe it or not, they're waiting to come into your own generation. They're waiting to come into your life. So if you see something in the generation before you that you're like, I don't really like that, you have to start praying now and asking the Lord, let that skip me.
Yeah.
Right? And even as parents, we have the responsibility to also pray you through, to say, this happened at such and such a stage, please let it skip them. I don't want it to be their portion. I mean, last year we were watching the story about the judge who was now trying to go for a very top job in the legal judicial system of America, and he practically had the job. But now, guess what? A story, I don't know, there's an eyelash in my eye. A story of something he had done when he was just 17 came up, and it was ruining his whole life. And it wasn't just a situation where it was a small committee that was saying, what did you do? Sorry, we can't. It was in front of the entire world, not the nation, not his city, not his county, not his province, if they have provinces in the state. We were watching it here in South Africa, and we were glued. Remember, guys, we were glued to CNN,
Must
following
have been
up with
very
that news.
embarrassing.
Extremely embarrassing to have to relive that. So we've made our mistakes as your parents. We definitely were not saints. I mean, I wasn't born saved. I came into salvation at a certain stage in my life, and then I could look back and be like, what was I doing? And I might have made those mistakes, but it's so important that my children don't make the same mistakes. And I'm so conscious, like there's certain pictures I try not to take, right? Like I only started taking pictures now. Did you guys notice that I would have the camera out and always be taking pictures of everybody else, but I never had a picture of myself?
Yeah.
So pictures is it's the last couple of months that I started taking pictures. And something I was very conscious of was not wanting to have images out there that I would look back years later and be like, what did I do? What was that? You know, and be embarrassed. Today there's social media. I try and protect you guys from social media as much as possible, but there's craziness on social media, and there are people who will do they're desperate for attention. They're putting all sorts of pictures out on social media, like literally naked on social media. Today they're teenagers, you know, they're cute. But can you imagine if they're like 50, 60 and they look back at those pictures, or their children look at those pictures, or they take those pictures and then the friends of their children, when they go to school, come up with a picture and say, I saw your mom in what. Like, could you just imagine?
Mommy, that was you?
Imagine the embarrassment. And we think about it now. They say, listen to the statement. It says that hindsight is 20/20. Do you know what that means? Do you know what 20/20 vision is? 20/20, because you never had to have an eye test like you guys. Oh Lord, you're still healthy. Praise the Lord. So 20/20 vision is practically perfect vision. So vision is tested, I think, 20 meters ahead.
Oh, 2020. That's what you're saying. I thought you were talking about the year. Yeah, I know what you're saying.
Oh no, I wasn't talking about the year, but like it's so coincidental.
I know what
you
you're
also knew
saying,
what I was
but
talking. No, I wasn't talking about the year.
Talking about the year to see what's together.
Yeah,
I know
no.
what you
Okay,
mean.
so 20/20 vision, and they say 20/20, which is the description of perfect vision, that when you look back over your life, you always see clearly. when you're in the midst of the situation, you don't see that clearly because you're clouded by emotions. You're clouded by people's opinions, trying to be cool. What's this person going to think? And sometimes your focus is on what the friend is going to say now, as opposed to the consequence of this action years to come. Like imagine a child who goes and his friends are like, you're such a chicken, you're not cool, you don't hang out, you don't do, cool stuff. And cool stuff might be taking drugs, drinking alcohol, smoking. And then he does that today because he wants to be cool. Then he gets addicted. And because of that addiction, he has some bad lung disease in a couple of decades and he's dying. Which of those friends who was holding the cigarette in front of him and telling him, smoke, chicken, you're not cool, you can't hang, you can't be with us, which of them are there by his dying bed?
None of them.
Maybe dead themselves, maybe reformed, maybe moved on, heaven knows what, but he's bearing the consequences by himself. I'll tell you something, when I was young, I wasn't saved, I'm not proud of it, but I used to party a lot, go to clubs a lot, but I couldn't drink. So I went to parties just to dance. So the other day, number 2 saw me dancing to a song. And I fell in love with the song because the lyrics of the song were, based on my values. But the beat of the song was, I don't know what the new music is called, but it was really upbeat and catchy. It was like club music. And so I was dancing. And then the other day, there was hip-hop playing in the car. It was Christian hip-hop.
Oh, yeah.
And then I was doing hip-hop dance. And I looked back and I could see number 2's eyes went wide, like a saucer, and she was like, what is this woman doing? Is this my mother? But I used to love to dance, so I was always out in the parties just to dance. Like you guys know, I told you the story about getting slapped in the club by the angel. I was always out in the parties dancing. But for some reason, I could just never bring myself to have alcohol. Talk less of drugs, talk less of smoking, And I don't think it was my righteousness I think the Lord just preserved me from that. I was just lucky. So I couldn't drink. But for me, there was just like a spirit attached to drinking, right? So if I'd go to the party with a friend, it could be my close friend. We were in the dormitory together. We left together. We get there, we're still talking, hey girlfriend, everything is fine. The minute she picks up a drink and her psyche alters, something in me just knew this was a different person. And I would not talk to her till the next morning. We would drive home in silence. I would refuse to have a conversation with someone who had been having alcohol. I don't know what it was, because I just felt as though I wasn't speaking to that person anymore. I was now speaking to the spirit of alcohol, and I just didn't want to have that conversation. I didn't want you saying things you wouldn't remember, and I felt it was disrespectful to not be talking to you when I want to talk to you. I don't know where I got that from, because I was young.
Yeah.
But yeah. So I've made those mistakes. I've been there, done that, got the T-shirt, and it's like, now I have remnants of that past, and when they come up and you guys look, you're just like, who's that? No, you're our mommy. No, you're not allowed to dance like that. You're not allowed to, what's that? And you guys listen to the rap, right? What's that guy's name? Lecrae and Tripley, what's his face? Tripley.
Minyo.
Yeah, but like you think it's okay for you to listen to, but it's not okay for me to listen to.
I don't know. It's just
I just mustn't dance to it.
No, it's just weird when I see you dancing to it.
Why?
I've never really seen you dance like that before.
Yeah, so I come from a past. I come from another time, and you guys are also going to have children and will also be a product of this time. And what are your children going to see and say when they begin to find out the elements of the time that you came from? Are they going to be like, look at this, no, or that's shocking, or that's not acceptable, or, what are they going to think about you? And so you need to be conscious today as you make those choices. I was saying I didn't used to take pictures because I just always had this sense that, I was going to go someplace and be somebody, and I didn't want my pictures just surfacing like, oh, we saw her doing blah, 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 blah. So I was pretty conscious of the kinds of pictures I took. when I could be. There are times, of course, that I wasn't conscious, I wasn't careful. I'd take a picture like anybody else would take a picture. But I mean, not down to like the underwear or what have you, right?
Yeah.
So you guys now are in that phase where the next decade or two, it's no longer just, you know, the only thing you're thinking about in the next decade is going to grade something. You're literally talking varsity in the next decades. You're talking children in the next decades. We don't know what's in God's plan, but I'm just saying you're entering into adolescence, adulthood, making decisions, being capable.
The knowledge you have now is kind of what you're gonna have for the rest. Kind of the knowledge you're going to have for the rest of your life.
Yes, it's like making jelly, guys. What was that song you used to sing?
Jelly on the plate.
Keep going. Jelly on the plate.
Jelly on the plate.
So jelly is number 4's. Guys, you made jelly that other day. I never tasted it.
The thing, it crashed.
Ah, it crashed, but you finished it.
It was
was-
put in the freezer. It tasted like salt, but
It tasted like salt.
I don't know what it was. Maybe there was too much water. Maybe I added too much water. I don't know what it was. But it didn't taste good. It didn't taste like jelly.
I still
It
had it.
didn't taste like jelly.
Interesting. Then I find out today, long after the jelly's over. So, what you do right now is like making jelly, basically. How the ingredients you put in, where you put it to set. In other words, the environment in which you find yourself will determine how the jelly tastes when it sets. If it sets, does it set well? Does it taste sweet? You know, it's kind of like you're doing school now. There's a lot of hard work. You're learning about chores. You're taking on responsibility. It's not fun now, but it'll equip you when that time comes. And it's coming very soon. Like time, you close your eyes, you open your eyes. Guys, it was 2019, we did this. It's 2020.
Yeah, that actually did happen.
It literally happened. Time flies. And we can play around now and relax and or we can put in the work now and then be reaping the harvest in years to come. The guy that you like to follow, Ben Carson, I remember we read his book Healing Hands.
Yeah.
And so remember the part in Healing Hands where his mom, he would come back and his mom was like, he's looking at the children playing outside in the street and she's like, nope, not gonna happen. You're reading a book.
Yeah.
And I want you in the library all day, almost every day.
Yeah. Did she say that you had to finish a book every day or finish 3 books a week, something like that? Yeah.
So, but I mean, it got him learning, it got him into a learning culture, and it's made him one of the greatest men in his generation. It was a huge cost to pay. Now, put yourself in his shoes. You're looking outside, children are playing, which sometimes happens now.
Actually does happen, yeah.
Right? And you want to join them in playing, but some work needs to be finished. And also, we're selective about what kinds of friends you can hang out with. I want to know their parents. I want to know what they will. Because, guys, I remember being your age and younger, and they would say, go to the neighbor's house. Dude, the stuff we got up to in the neighbor's house. No. That's all I'm going to say. Let me do the Zuma laugh. No. That's why when people are like, oh, you want to go? Chai. You want to go to the neighbor's house? I'm just like, These children don't know I've been a child before. I know what happens in neighbors' houses.
Yeah.
I know what happens in neighbors' houses. I know the things that maybe your parents are protecting you from and they're saying, I know that you're not old enough to be exposed to that. Those neighbors, like there was some stuff you guys were telling me that you would go to certain places and meet with other children who were exposed to the public school system. And they had picked up certain language, certain themes of discussion from their schools, and now when they hang with you, they're trying to talk about those things.
The language they would use.
The language they would use. Okay,
Very
yes.
shocking.
You see, so you don't see him, but he's opening his eyes like, very shocking. But now, when you're constantly at the friend's house, and the friend...
You get used to it.
You get used to it. and the values of the friend are not the same as your values at home. The parents of the friend and your parents don't necessarily have the same values or walk the same path. Then you're exposed to stuff that here we are thinking, okay, no, we're teaching you right, we're protecting you, or whatever, and there you are picking up all these things. So friends by all means, but friends within the same sort of mindset, so that the effort that we make as parents is not wasted.
Yeah.
You know. So I'm just saying, I know what I got up to at friends' houses and things I was exposed to, and sometimes parents will be there in the house and they'll be,
And they
oh,
won't really think about
yeah,
it.
they would, yeah, go play in so and so's room. Then you're gone, and then the parents are having conversation. So for me, I don't want doors closed. If a friend is over, you best believe I'm walking past the room. Maybe I'm a busybody mommy. You know what? You'll thank me tomorrow. That's all I'm saying. So here we are. We're sitting at the the gate of a whole new decade, and the choices you make today will determine the future tomorrow. And you can, of course, your children, I think you need to lighten up, you need to have fun, but you've got to count the costs.
I'm actually kind of conscious of that.
Okay, you want to tell me more?
Like knowing simple things you do today might become very bad habits. You think you just do it once or twice, then you end up doing it like how many times, and then you won't even care. It won't even sting your consciousness when you grow up. Just do it like people killing people on the streets without any remorse or guilt.
What do you think about when you get out of the protection of home and you get into varsity, and there's the reality of, because you can come home and debrief every day if you are exposed to something. You come home, we'll pray, you'll be like, oh Lord, forgive me, we'll take.
It's not always going to be like that.
It's not always going to be like that. When you're on your own and you're in varsity and you've got a roommate, maybe your roommate is on drugs, or he parties non-stop and you're trying to study, or the plethora of things that could be. Have you thought about, okay, how am I going to maintain? It's real out there. Stuff is going to be out there. It's going to come from me. How do you think you're going to, what from home do you think that you can hold on to maintain routine, discipline, and values?
You tell all of us that if you help clean the room, then we're each gonna get a reward. So everybody's cleaning, but sometimes someone ends up playing. And it takes a long time to clean the room. So one person is focusing, and everybody else is playing and not thinking, just joking. At the end, that person gets a reward. Everybody's surprised, but they didn't do their part. This one is finished. And that person was still focusing on the goal, the reward at the end, and all these small things in between weren't going to help him. He just had to focus on his goal. So yeah.
So
focusing on the goal.
Focusing on the goal.
Yeah.
Okay. With you focusing on the goal. So I lost my train of thought. I was saying something.
You were asking what will you be able to hold on to from what you've learned from home.
And so for you, focusing on the goal is what you would hold on to. Focus on the goal. All right. Okay. I'm with you. So what you're saying is that the people are there. They're making noise. They're
doing yada yada.
They're doing yada yada. They're doing yada yada, but you've got a goal.
Yeah.
And so you're not distracted. Even the way at home that you've not been distracted when you're aiming for a goal and people are playing around, you're going to carry that in. What about temptation? Have you ever felt like, she's too strict. Wait till I just leave. Wait till I'm in my own space. And Have you ever thought that?
It can get irritating, but I always know that there's a reason. I never think that she didn't do it that she just did it for nothing.
It can get irritating.
It can.
We're being candid. Okay, so it can get irritating, but at the back of your mind, you're like, okay, I know there's a reason. I know it's for my own good.
Yeah.
So when you get now into the space, I'm not there. There's no controls. Are you thinking, I'll be like, you will be like, finally, you said there's a party? Where is it? Sign me up. How does beer taste? or you think that you'd be able to just hold on to that focus?
I think I'll be able to hold on to the focus.
What do you think will make you hold on to that focus? What's your game plan to stay on the focus? Because you see, it's one thing to say I'm going to. Remember,
Yeah,
okay, you didn't watch my last video. So my last video was talking about resolution, saying I resolved to, I'm determined to, I've decided to. That's resolution. Versus vision, where God casts a vision for you and says, here is my plan for your life. And because of that plan for your life, you then make decisions, which other people would call resolutions, but it's just decisions following a vision, and you don't want to lose sight of that vision. Okay, so what are your steps to ensuring, in the midst of all that temptation, in the midst of the greatest freedom you've ever experienced, mommy's not there, what's your plan? How are you gonna differentiate between resolving? Because resolve, like, I'm on a diet, guys. I've not been good in the last week, and I keep every morning I'm just like, I'm gonna do better. Can I just please have another slice of? But I'm gonna do better. So if you go there with resolve can be weakened. Yeah. What's your plan to stay on the path based on your destiny?
You might also when you're still with your parents, you always focus and do that. So, a part of the reason is because you want to please your parents.
Mm-hmm, true.
Now that you're out, it's not only your parents that you're going to please, it's mostly God.
Okay.
And if you know that He has a plan for you, and He's told you what He wants you to be able to do, what He wants you to do in His kingdom, then you know there's a greater reward. And He did say that He'll never give you more than you can handle.
True.
So you ask Him for the grace.
That's it. You ask for
And
the
the
grace.
strength.
That's it.
To
You never
carry on.
forget that. Never get to that point where you're just like, I got this.
No,
I'm
not
a bigger boy.
You can't really do that. It's really hard. Especially,
It's hard,
it gets hard
yes.
over the years.
Yeah.
Your parents, it might have been a little easier. Now, as time passes by, there are even more temptations. Because in the days of the Bible, there was no tablets. There was no internet. There were no devices that you can end up watching something bad that will pollute your mind.
Yeah.
So, I guess there were temptations, but
Of
it
their
was a
own
little
kind.
easier. Of their own kind, so it was a little easier. Now, these things evolve, so do the temptations. They get worse and they increase. So it does get harder.
I mean, even I, as an adult, when I'm on social media, I just police myself. I literally am on social media like this. Daddy was saying the other day that he was scrolling on his timeline. I think he had to do some posts. And he's posting and minding his business. And on what would seem a very neutral, okay place to be. It was just a place they were talking about soccer. And on that place talking about soccer, someone comes into that group and posts something crazy and dirty. And he was just like, so he went to the Lord and was just like, I mean, like, there's got to be a place where a person can have a reprieve. I'm talking soccer here. Why is this? And you know what the Lord said to him?
What?
When you're on social media, everybody is having a business to mind. Mind your own business. Everybody's on social media serving their master.
Their own master.
Their own master.
Their own plan, having their own plan, their own business.
Mind your own business. So I'm literally on social media going like this. I constantly have to put brakes on myself, put protection, pray, oh Lord, cleanse my eyes. And I'm an adult. That's why I'm so conscious, like, guys, I get off those tablets.
Yeah.
Get off those tablets, and I have your tablets connected to mine, so I'm seeing what it is you're
Watching.
on, and preferably Facebook for who, for what? Who do you want to
actually
face?
have Facebook? Some children do that.
Well, I told you about children who got on Facebook and then got groomed for abduction, kidnapping, trafficking, etc. So the stuff is real. And when you get out there, you're going to have to submit yourself to the protection of God. Now, as parents, we've put you under our protection.
Yeah.
We've not given you a choice because we're answerable to the one who really owns you. We're just stewards. You're passing through.
Yeah.
And we're going to have to answer him, and he'll be like, what did you do with? And we can't be like, oh, we let them tell us what they would like have happen. And but that won't last forever. you're going to have to then grow up, make your own choices, and it's only the grace. Sometimes you will fall, you'll make mistakes. You'll know we're always praying for you.
Yeah.
You need to always be praying for you too.
Mm.
And you need to recognize temptation when you see it. That's why when we started, even with TV, when you were young, I would sit in front of you, in front with you of the TV with you. We'll watch TV.
Yeah, I remember.
So that you would know, no, off, and then slowly I'd go away and pop in just to see, are they still carrying on the lessons? Are they self-policing? And if you abuse my absence, then I'd be like, okay, you're not ready. Switch that off. I'm sitting here, type thing. Or if you were able to say, no, I can't watch this. And I'd hear from a distance that you guys are saying, this is not appropriate for us. And you could determine by yourself. I mean, sometimes you go to Gogo's house and then she'll even ask you, do you watch this? Can you watch it? Because now you know the limits. You're not at home, so she needs to be sure where you're at. And I'm sure sometimes you guys just cheat and say something that you know you shouldn't watch. You're like, she doesn't know. Mommy's not here. Yeah, we do. Right? Now, of course, the guilt is all over your face. Okay.
Really?
So, guys, in summary, this issue about not just making resolutions and not just determining and making a decision, this year I'm going to be better, this year I'm going to do my that's not sufficient.
Yeah.
You need to constantly, from the time you were born, from as early as you could understand us talking to you, we were very clear to you about what your destiny and prophecy was as per how we received it, the portion we received. As you grow older, God will speak to you in more direct ways. As you grow older, he will send you different messengers, and the message will crystallize more. It'll get clearer. So we told you, the Bible says you see in part, you prophesy in part. The part that he needed us to know in order to bring you up in the way that you should go, he's told us up to this point. And we've been transparent with you up to that point. We've educated you along the lines of what he said your purpose was. We named you along the lines of what he said your purpose was. We've done our bit and laid that foundation. You then need to hold on to that destiny, that promise, that prophecy. Paul says to Timothy, do a good warfare concerning the prophecy you've received. It is war. It is war, number one. To become what God has, you think it's easy, we call you, hey, number one, the what, and think it's just us saying it to you every day. We're purposeful in saying it to you every day. Abraham did not enter his prophecy till his name changed from Abram to Abraham. So calling you that thing. When Jesus was born, it was said, mighty counselor, the government shall be upon his shoulders. They spoke his prophecy into his name. So that's why your names are so fashioned, and that's why we keep saying and saying and saying. We're prophesying, we're being deliberate. But you need to know that the fact that you have this assignment, whatever it is you've been called to do, all hell plans to break loose.
It's not going to
be
just
easy. Fall into
be
your lap.
completed automatically.
No. And part of what's going to come at you is temptations to make the wrong decisions, slip off, step off, make a detour off the road. It is this thing that we just talked about now, as opposed to just making your own resolutions and saying, no, I'm going to do this. Ooh, temptation, stay away from me. And rather yielding completely to the Holy Spirit to say, I want to do this. The spirit is willing. Sometimes the flesh fights me. I don't know how. I'm struggling. And I don't want to disappoint you. So help me. So help me, God. So help me, God. And you need to be praying more and more. Mommy and Daddy have told me to some extent, what do you talk about me? But I want to hear it from you. I've told you guys, Daddy's told you guys about our own encounters with him. That's my prayer for you, that he will not just be the God of your parents. That's the most dangerous thing that could happen, is for you to
Everyone's
have a relationship.
Going to go to heaven by themselves.
Yeah, my friend.
They're not going to go with your parents.
By your own self. Your name is going to be on the list. You get the number 4. Let's see on the big screen. By yourself. I can't be there. Now, sometimes when you get in trouble with Daddy and Mommy quickly advocates on the, no, he did blah, 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 she didn't, I come in and I try and absolve them. I can't talk for you.
In heaven.
I know.
Every man for himself.
Every man for himself, God for us all. That's what they say. Bless you. So, it's so important that he is not the God of your parents. Like, that man in the sky kept talking about, I'm out of their house now, happy for them. you need your own experiences, your own relationship, your own encounter, your own conviction. What does conviction mean? What does conviction mean?
As someone know,
I am convicted. Your own reasons for being convinced.
Oh yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Okay? Next 10 years, consciously making decisions every day. The food you put in your stomach. We've been talking about cutting down sugar. The food you put in your stomach, the habits that you imbibe, that you wake up on time, that you get your devotions going. Do you know that there was a season, you know the story of the prophet who was told he was fed by the ravens? And no, it wasn't the story of the ravens. It was the angel who came and said, eat.
Yeah.
Eat again. The journey is long. There was a time that I consumed my Bible to a greater extent than I do now. I mean, I read my Bible. But then you guys, I still have that Bible. You can't find space.
Highlighted everywhere.
Ooh. And I unpack, even though I wasn't like as serious with the Lord as I am now. I mean, I was younger. I was still, trying to find my own feet and things and still wanting to have fun. But for some reason, the Word of God, I ate it like food. Now, a lot of the times I'm sustained by what it was I read then. Because he knew you're going to come to a time where your life is going to be interrupted. You're going to have to hide in the toilet to try and read the Bible. Like, guys, you try and read the Bible. Sometimes Daddy wants to read the Bible, he'll say, then you guys come in, where's Daddy? And I'm like, he's hidden in the room. Just so he can read the word. Or hide in another room in the house. Or go to the bathroom, literally. Or just go out.
Yeah.
Because it's that hectic. The noise, the people constantly coming to report something, constantly coming to ask for something. You've read one paragraph, you need to. You've read one paragraph, you need to. Huh?
In every room, there's always a child.
Yo. So it's just a season, and I realize now that, he allowed me to eat and then eat again because the journey was long.
Yeah.
So you guys need to eat.
And eat again.
And eat again. So that's why we're like, read your Bible. You get up in front of the TV, there's a tablet in front of you. The first question Daddy asks is,
have you read your Bible?
And you might think, this Bible, every night we sit down together, we read 5 whole chapters. Come on. The Bible is not going to finish. I'm going to be reading it for the rest of my life. No, guys. Eat and eat again. Okay. So we've come to the end of this episode. I don't really think this episode can have an end because we'll have to talk about this every new year within this decade. We need to keep talking about it every day because people get complacent and you've got to keep, you have something that keeps reminding you. And that's why you set that vision in front of you, that picture of what it is you're supposed to be.
Yeah.
Not just what it is you want to have. Because, think about it. Today you might want this car. Tomorrow you see another car. Oh, that's nice, huh? Another car. Cars change. But what it is you were fashioned to be, that doesn't change. So that's got to be what you keep your eye on. So are you going to take us out with, what accent do you want to do?
The same one I started.
The same one you started with. Okay.
What should I say?
You should do a Jamaican accent.
Jamaica. What should I say in the Jamaican accent? I don't know.
It's been nice having you.
No, I don't. It doesn't sound.
You won't even try.
But I already think about what it's gonna sound like.
And that's the problem. You overthink. You know something called analysis paralysis. You think, like you think, and then you don't move because you've thought of every pro and con. That's what Peter did. Step on the water. Just step on the water. Thanks for joining us. Thank you for joining us, man. Or something along those lines.
Thank you for joining us, man. It's been a wonderful time.
British?
Thank you, everybody, for joining us for this wonderful evening.
It's been lekker. Guys, continue to have these conversations. Continue to talk about it. Continue to think about it. Continue to be about it. Love you much. Love you plenty. Like, subscribe, notification bell.